God, keep messing up her name.
Nagamine, right?
Nagamine. I've seen these movies all the time, and yet like the name's always just like
they're tricky.
I'll imagine what they say.
Jadora. If in doubt, come back to Jadora.
Jadora, yeah. I feel better when I say it like that.
Hey everyone, you're listening to the Podzilla podcast. I'm Jasher, and I'm here with my brother Mykah.
Hey, am I gracious today?
You're not gracious, bro. I don't know. I don't go around calling people gracious for some reason, adding that adjective to their name. I don't do weird stuff like that.
Okay,
but you know, today's a really special day. G-Force have graciously.
Hey, there you go.
G-Force. This is them actually being gracious. They've graciously allowed us to have one single phone call back to Earth. As you all know, P-Fans, listeners, we've been stuck up here in a space station, the Chandler Maru, because of some shady business dealings that I thought weren't shady. Mykah apparently had signed off on a whole lot of money that we apparently had, but we didn't have permission
for. Miscommunications. It's in the past now. What matters is we've been up here for months.
We've been up here for months.
By ourselves.
Yep.
With a neary another soul.
Yep.
That hasn't been trying to kill us.
Yeah, exactly.
In sight. We've been going a bit stir crazy, but as soon as we got the message that we have that phone call, we have been holding out hope to call someone we know and someone we trust back on Earth.
Yeah, and I mean, the Gamera franchise for us is wrapping up shortly soon. We've made our way through a lot of these movies, and we thought we'd call a friend of ours, someone who loves Gamera, loves the movie we're going to cover today, Revenge of Iris, Biggo, who's been on the show before for our King Ghidorah episode. But Mykah, I mean, I think I'm just a bit cautious because I don't completely trust G-Force yet. I'm just thinking when we get on this phone call, when we call Biggo up, we just need to try and like them.
They're going to be listening.
They might be tapping the
sure.
lines, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So we just got to try and like
best behavior, right?
Yes, and not talk about our escape plan at all. When we're on the phone to Biggo, no.
Okay,
not at all. Everything's good. We're still in space.
Okay, I can do that.
Perfect. Okay, awesome. Let's give him a call.
Let me just dial this rotary phone here.
Yeah, the rotary phone they gave us. Is that ringing? Is that?
Yep. Lines dialing.
Okay. No weird clicking sounds? They're not listening yet?
Nothing yet.
Okay.
Biggo.
I thought I blocked this number, dude.
Why would you have blocked this number? We're best friends, Biggo.
Yeah, I've heard what you said about the last two Gamera movies, but I blocked it.
What are you
so
talking
that's
about?
Why our past 7 phone calls haven't gone through.
The last two Gamera movies, I think unanimously we agreed they were good, right? I think everyone enjoyed them. I think this is just going to be a great celebration episode, Biggo. But it's great to have you on the show, man. How have you been? How's everything going in your world? Back there on Earth.
I guess I'm doing fine. You know, I felt like I've been harassed for a minute by you two. I felt like the Dorat in this situation, being kicked around. But ultimately, no, I've been doing okay. And I will say this, that I guess I have the courage to finally talk about this movie with you. All right. It took time, but we're here now. All right.
We've been talking about doing this for ages. So this is awesome. All the stars have aligned. All our mana, they've all ascended together. I don't know. That's what mana does, right?
Yeah. What we're saying is you've put a lot of trust in us.
Yeah.
We're not going to squander it.
No.
Hopefully not. I'm begging you.
Yeah, no. This is gonna be a great episode. One of the Podzilla all-time greats. But I guess first off, when we last had you on the show, Biggo, we talked a little bit about your history with Godzilla, the Godzilla franchise. I just wanted to get a little bit of an insight with your history on the Gamera franchise, because I don't really know where you stand with it as a whole. I know you love the Heisei trilogy, but when were you first introduced to the big old turret, and what did you think of him initially?
So I was introduced to the big old turtle by being a very influential little like 11, 12-year-old on YouTube watching people talk about kaiju stuff. And this is before, like, if you go on, you'll see a bunch of like just kind of slop content of like Godzilla stuff. This is back when it was just some dude in his bedroom with his AC on talking about monster movies. But a lot of the time, a lot of the YouTubers I watched always talked about how good the Gamera Heisei trilogy was, how awesome it was. And that wasn't my first exposure to Gamera. I saw toys of him in little toy reviews that I watched. I saw pictures of him. I always thought he was cool, but I just didn't really have access to any of the movies unless it was some like very low quality public domain version of like Gamera versus Virus or something, you know? But eventually in 2013, I decided to finally, I'm gonna buy these movies. I'm gonna get them. And I got these old DVD releases from like the late 90s, early 2000s that were filled to the brim with special features. They had some really funny ones, like a redneck dub in there.
Yeah.
And there was a funny commentary with the film we're talking about here. But I picked up the Gamera Heisei trilogy and I watched them. And while obviously being like 12 years old at the time, I was like, I don't get everything. I still thought they were really cool and they were awesome. And eventually in like 2014 and 2015, Mill Creek started to release the Showa era on Blu-ray. And while they weren't the best, very bargain bin Blu-rays, they were still like the Japanese versions. And I watched them and I thought they were fine. I stand on business that Gamera versus Gauss is the best one.
Agreed.
I stand on that.
Nice.
Yeah. It flows the best. The characters, while aren't great, you know, they're not like, if I could think of it, the kids from Gamera versus Zigra, they're not that level. They're nowhere near it. That is to me the worst Gamera movie. I know people say Super Monster, but that movie feels broke. That movie.
I think I agree with you as well. Yeah, Zigra just felt like a big low point.
It feels desperate.
Yeah.
Super Monster obviously had no money, but at least they were like, well, we have no money. Let's try to do something kind of interesting, you know, something with their low budget.
Yes, preach it.
Zigra was just like, we have to make the same movie again, even though they had no money. They have nothing.
And we need to fulfill this SeaWorld contract and put a lot of that footage in there. So.
Oh, I know. And that, yeah, they became fairy. But like, I thought Gamera, the giant monster, was fine. Baragon was very solid. I especially love the part where Baragon's weakness was water, even though it was born from water.
Yeah, that's right.
Gauss, I mentioned, I like. Virus opens amazingly with the opening, but it kind of meanders a little bit. I still think it's fun, even though Gamera gets gutted. We'll see that again in this movie.
Yeah,
every time.
Gueron is fun. Jiger, I think, actually is a little underrated. A little bit. Gamera gets pregnant. Love it.
That's right. Yeah.
And obviously I just said my thoughts on Zigra. Super Monster is also not good, but it has its merits that I can kind of like. And obviously we're here with these movies.
Yeah. I didn't realize that like these films as a whole, like of course me and Mykah have been watching through them with like the Blu-ray Arrow, like collectors, all the films in a box set. But that's something that I don't think about often, is that for a while none of the Gamera films really had a good wide release in the original Japanese. Like it's just funny hearing about you as a kid tracking these down, and they were like bargain bin DVDs. And
well, even to that point, like when the Western audience got a hold of these, a lot of the early Showa Gamera films weren't even rated that highly. Like I think the first one really hit it off, and then from there, every inch was kind of like,
yeah.
Hence the bargain bin.
I will say this. I will say it is a time to be alive to be a kaiju fan, because a lot of these movies, a lot of these TV shows are very accessible. You could watch like most of the Showa movies on YouTube free with ads. You could do that.
Yeah.
Gamera, you could get in box sets. You could get the entire Showa era on a Criterion set. Hell, for what it seems like, they're going to try to do a Heisei Millennium set in the future.
Yeah, we can hope. Oh man.
Yeah, and Mill Creek's just been pumping out Ultraman stuff. They finally got the rights to Ultraman Taiga.
Oh yeah.
So they're like really trying to be up to date with the releases. But yeah, like it's a great time. But there is a beauty in like that scavenger hunt, trying to find these movies out in the wild. Because like my parents they didn't use eBay a lot. You know, they didn't use Amazon. So if I wanted a Godzilla movie, I had to hope it was like at a local video store or something. I had to hope a Godzilla toy. I had to hope they had a Bandai creation burning Godzilla that wasn't that great, but it was mine. Yes. It was mine. I get to have it.
Makes it feel so rewarding.
It really
There's
does.
Definitely a charm to it because that's how we saw our first couple. Again, I think we've shared the stories on the show before, but like Godzilla 1985, our dad picked up a VHS from like a garage sale, and then we watched that. And the other movies we got, exactly like you were saying, just in bargain bins, Son of Godzilla and Destroy All Monsters. There is definitely a charm to it, finding that in that scrappy sort of way. No one else really in your world, not a lot of your friends are aware of these movies, and it's kind of like you're discovering them and experiencing them singularly. It's just real special. Great memories to have. I guess before we talk about Iris, what were your thoughts on Guardian of the Universe and Legion?
Okay, so contrary to what you guys have to say, I love both of them. I love them so much. Guardian of the Universe to me is kind of like that perfect kaiju movie in terms of its structure. Like, if I could describe it, it's like the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie for kaiju films, where both the main protagonist, Gamera, is set up at the same time as Gauss. They both have equal amount of buildup. They're both connected with each other, and it all leads to a big climactic battle at the end. And like, I will say this, yes, there are kaiju movies that have better characters, but I still thought the characters were really fun in the movie. I still thought they had some really fun moments in there that stuck out. I think a particularly fun moment I could think of was the scene where Asagi's father comes home and just some dude that he worked with is just cooking food with his daughter.
Yes.
And just so he can have a meeting with him. And it's like, it's such a great, cute moment, and I love it. But yeah, like the characters don't have a ton of depth to them, but I still think they work for what they are.
Yeah.
And Gamera 2, while I would say is a bit more weaker with it, there's still moments where like the main character brings her two colleagues with her home to talk about like Legion, and her dad keeps trying to snoop on them because they think they're like doing stuff because she brought two guys home.
Yeah, it was so fun.
And it's like another funny it reminds me kind of on the same level of like King Kong vs. Godzilla, where the dude's like, where's my sister at? She must be at her boyfriend's, goes there and immediately wipes his lips with a napkin to see if they've been kissing. And then he's like, oh, you made him a bigger steak. Like, he gave me that moment. And the special effects, I would say this, when it comes to consistently great effects, Gamera 2 has all three of these movies beat.
Yeah.
But when it comes to most, oh my God, that is a real thing in front of me, Gamera 3 has that. We'll get to that when we get to that.
Absolutely.
But
yeah.
Gamera 2 just looks amazing. I love the role of Gamera plays. I love one of my favorite. Oh my God. I love the moment where the Legion flower is blooming. It's about to go off. Right. Yeah. And obviously Gamera should be focused on it, but the Legion Queen kind of gets Gamera a little bit. Kind of understands how he works, immediately goes after the people trying to evacuate, and Gamera has to stop what he's doing and try to save them. And that's how Legion's able to get the one up on him. Like, a shot that really sells that is when like you see the flower pot in the background and the Legion Queen just steps into the frame.
Yes.
It's so good. Like, I love a moment like that. And like the ending, it's so nice, but also I just love how the ending really sets up this film, because Gamera cuts his connection with Asagi, and we get to see what happens because of that.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess we didn't really get the whole picture when we were talking about the last movie, but we just assumed Gamera was taking like power of the sun or the ozone layer to like do his big blast at the end, but it's stated in this he's actually taking like the mana from people all over the earth, which is, I can't wait to get into it.
It's real cool to see that little bit of a connection, that through line between the movies, completely making it feel much more planned from the start and much more of like a cohesive trilogy.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, that's why I also recommend, like, when any point, especially after you guys finish the trilogy, the third one definitely kind of recontextualizes certain aspects of the trilogy. That for sure. Returning to 1 and 2 could actually like make them feel more fleshed out because where it leads to.
I can see that. Yeah. Oh, well, should we just get into it? Should we get into Gamera 3 Revenge of Iris? And I love how much you love the Heisei trilogy as a whole. To be honest, I don't know like which crazy person out there would give a movie like Gamera Guardian of the Universe like a 2.5 out of 5. That sounds insane to me. Like, Which world do they need to be living in?
I think someone who could is cheesing up right now because he might be relating to him when what he had to rate it. That is.
Can I just say, Jasher only gave it half a star more than me.
Dude, I gave it 3.5.
Letterboxd says otherwise.
Dude, I do whole star Letterboxd. I'm a weirdo. let's just get the past is behind us. We're heading on into the future with Revenge of Iris. Biggo, did you want to bring us into it?
I will say this for the audience. I wrote like 4 paragraphs for a synopsis, and then I got writer's block. This is what happens when your trilogy is so interconnected with each other. Like this isn't like Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, where that movie for the most part is a standalone adventure.
Yeah.
You know, there's barely any bleed through with movies before or after. So I was able to just condense it down. Here, I couldn't do it. I got to Osako having a beer with Nagamine, and I immediately started getting terrified. Like I didn't know how to finish it.
Yeah, it's not just time travel, weird love subplot, door rats. There's some meat to this movie. So yeah,
there is so much. That's what happens when you get the writer of Ghost in the Shell. That's what happens. So I'm just going to take what these guys did in the ending of the last episode, and we'll just jump right into it.
Go from there.
Nagamine and Asagi investigate while an orphan girl named Ayana discovers a new creature she names Iris. Nagamine and Asagi must reach Ayana before she takes her revenge on Gamera, who she blames for the death of her family.
That's good, man. And right off the bat, this sounds like such a departure from most kaiju movies I know we've covered in the past and we've watched. When we were watching it, like the thing that stood out to me the most is that we have a human protagonist who is actively trying to work against our hero kaiju.
Yeah. This is definitely a play on the kid type character in a Gamera film because, kids in these movies love Gamera. There's even there's that scene in Gamera 2 where all the kids show up to like his grave.
Yeah.
And it's like, is he dead? Oh, he'll get back up. And then there's the scene in this movie where a kid honestly believes Gamera protected him, even though if you see around him,
oh, great scene.
The destruction. Yeah, it's wild.
But he's crying saying Gamera save him. So this is like definitely a twist on that with having a child who actively hates him because of something that happened in Gamera Garden Universe, which I will say, when you guys ever return to that, my favorite moment watching that movie is seeing the building that Gamera destroys that has their parents in it.
Oh, could you actually see it?
Yeah, like they
oh my gosh.
Yeah, like it's like the building after he crashes, he's like walking to Gauss and he's just gets a building out of his way to get to Gauss. And it's like, that's the building where her cat died. And also her parents, I guess, but her cat died.
The cat, no. Yeah, I agree. It's just such a great subversion of the classic Gamera elements, right? The kid loves Gamera, loves and believes in him. And that's kind of the whole movie. Gamera's going to save the day.
And no one else on Earth except for the adults believes otherwise. No one doubts him for a second.
Exactly. And in this one, you've got a girl who was like significantly impacted by the opposite of Gamera. Sure, Gamera defeated Gauss in that fight, but to her whole world was destroyed because of Gamera. Her parents are dead because of Gamera, and she's not like the usual kid who just loves and believes Gamera. She hates Gamera, and she is harboring so much unforgiveness because of what he does. And I think it's just such a great start to the movie because usually, like, the first Gamera fight's really amping you up, right? You want to see Gamera go up against a monster. In this one, it's like a nightmare. It's terrifying. I think it starts with this Gauss dropping out of the sky and just the scale of it on fire, blowing up a building, civilians getting impacted. And it's really just like horrifying, right? It's like you're seeing the other side, not what the kids see in these Gamera films, but what everyone else sees. And Gamera's just wreaking havoc on this city. It's so, like you were saying, Mykah, like so different to, I think, any other kaiju movie we've watched on the journey so far.
And like you were saying there, Biggo, having that little snippet of a backstory, a backdrop of Ayana's history with Gamera, even just knowing that recontextualizes that whole fight from the get-go. As soon as Gamera comes in and, I don't know, hits one of the buildings, your mind switches into that mode of like, oh no,
Who was in
these
there?
people are in danger.
Yeah.
That's a huge part with like, especially the destruction in this movie, because like a lot of the destruction in the previous movies, you never really get like a super personal level. At most, when you see like a close-up destruction, it's more so there to be like, oh, look how impressive this like set design is. Oh, it's so cool seeing these little chairs and Gamera's head and like Gamera or Gauss's head go through it. But here, like you see people, like you see a guy trying to get a girl's number, which funny enough, there's actually like on the special features, there's a whole scene of that. Like, it goes on forever of this guy trying to get this girl to go back to like his studio or his apartment or something. And like, you get to see him like trying to get with her. And then like, you get to see these little characters drop in the Shibuya district of Tokyo. You get to see them just kind of doing their thing, interacting. And then the Gauss falls. It drops. It immediately, you see,
mood just shifts.
All these people, like it really shows you just how fragile people are in this situation. Because like, we always see buildings get crumbled, but like any step, any move these monsters take, someone's getting melted, someone's getting crushed, someone's evaporating into dust, because these monsters are just doing their thing. They're ginormous.
It's crazy. There was that one shot with like, I think a fireball hits one of Gamera's fireballs, and you literally see people's bodies just like lift up in the air with the shockwave and just get like eviscerated by the fire. And it's crazy. Gamera's taking footsteps and you see the little boy down and you don't know if Gamera's just about to step on him and kill him or if he's a little while off. It recontextualizes the whole situation for all these Gamera films.
And not to mention, like, so in this movie, because of what happened in the events of Gamera 2, there's the mana level in the world, which is an energy they introduced through a Sega Dreamcast.
The game. Yeah, the game they play on it.
I love how the most high-tech of simulations. It's just a little CD-ROM some guy whipped up in a couple. Yeah,
and the guy who designed it, we'll get to him, the game designer behind that. But like, because of, so they established in this movie, something I really like about Kaneko is that he really, whenever he gets the chance, he loves to explain why monsters keep showing up to Japan.
Yeah.
Right. He did this with GMK. He did this with this movie. GMK was because like all the monsters are like old guardians of Japan or some sort, like Guardian Beast, and then Godzilla is like this culmination of all the souls wronged by Japan during World War II, you know? And this movie, they explained that Japan was very low on mana during the last two movies. That's why the Gauss showed up. That's why the Legion showed up to Japan. And then Gamera used pretty much all of Earth's, and now the Gauss are showing up everywhere. They're showing all over the world, and it slowly built up through the movie to a certain shot later at the very end. But in this scene, we get to see that Gamera's desperate. All right. And because he broke his connection with humanity, he is going all in. This isn't a scene where he's protecting that helicarrier from Legion to try to save a few people. Gamera, there's nothing holding him back here. He has to get his job done.
Yeah.
And you get this scene where he finally lands and they focus on every single step, every moment he takes just to walk up to the Gauss and the devastation and the shot of the Gauss with its eyeball dangling out.
Oh my God. It was so cool, man. I loved it.
Just hanging out.
It's crazy.
The kaiju gore in these movies is insane, which it's like, here's the thing. I kind of can't imagine Godzilla having that kind of gore, but Gamera, it's like, give me more of that. And this movie is like,
it makes sense.
It's ecstasy with this. You see some crazy things in this movie. These monsters pull off on each other, and just seeing that Gauss just wail in pain with its eye dangling out and Gamera just building up, his mouth just filled with smoke. And when he finally lays it out, the entire city, like you see like several angles of just one, like 10 blocks being ignited in flames just to kill a Gauss that was already on the verge of death. Like he could have just hit it.
Yeah, it's shocking.
It's such a shocking piece of imagery as well when you do see that kid who isn't killed by Gamera. Gamera kills the Gauss. The kid survives, and he says, "He saved me. Gamera saved me." And then you literally zoom out and just see how much destruction Gamera's wrought, and just see all that fire, the whole city in flames. It's gonna stick with me, man. Just like, even though this kid's perspective of Gamera and certain people's perspective and our perspective of Godzilla or Gamera in pretty much all these kaiju movies, we perceive them a separate way. Like, this just completely breaks that and shows there's so much more.
Saying that as well, like, it's so interesting finishing this movie and then thinking back to that point, because in that moment, Gamera is still, quote unquote, the good guy, still trying to defeat this Gyaos. Like, it shows just how dark and gray matters are when it comes to like watching any kaiju movie, like thinking that there's a very white, good kaiju. You're never going to have like no casualties, no collateral damage. It's crazy to see.
Yeah, and I love the emphasis on the collateral damage in this one. It's, front and center, which is real cool.
And go back to what you said there, Biggo, like, one thing I really like about this movie capping off the trilogy is just how much of like a singular universe or like a singular,
just
it feels like
canon almost.
Yeah, it feels like such a whole, complete world and set of movies coming off the back. I mean, even having the reintroduction of the Gyaos and thinking about everything with the mana, like you said before, it almost feels like since the first movie happened, like events have just been going on one after the other, almost like this is the end game. Like, it was inevitable that everything was going to lead to this point where Japan, the world is low on mana and some crazy force is going to come and Gamera is just going to have the worst time of his life trying to face with it. It feels like such a great just an idea for the movie, having this culmination of all the events that have happened while still weaving the canon to, I don't know, to me it feels like such a complete solid canon even.
Oh, yeah, this is kind of the reason why a lot of people kind of struggle with the idea of like a new Gamera movie or something, because these movies, like the mythos these movies create is just so solid that if you ever make your own original Gamera movie, you're inherently taking from this, because it's just kind of like the perfect like origin, background, lore of the character that makes him stand out from all the other monsters. And it's just, I really love, like, there's that Gamera graveyard scene that ultimately shows that Gamera took time to be made.
A lot of failed attempts.
It took multiple versions, beta version after beta version, to get to the Gamera that we see in this film. And it's like, I just really love the mythology. One of my favorite aspects of it is the fact that if you pay attention, turtles and tortoises do not exist in this trilogy.
Do they not?
They do not.
Did they really hint to that?
They never call Gamera a turtle. They never call him a tortoise. The only time a tortoise is ever mentioned is through mythology as like
that's right.
Weird.
Yeah, they never
the turtle and the snake.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's it. Like, that's all they mention. Gamera's never once preferred by a turtle. You never see a turtle. You never see anything, and that's what like also makes Gamera, like, that's why the people in this movie really view Gamera as like this creature, like this monster that they've never seen before, because they, in their world, they have nothing to compare it to. There's no turtles that exist.
That's such a cool little factoid. That's great.
Yeah, and I must admit, like, a lot of my hangups with the previous two movies were some of those elements of mythology, and kind of the just the way they were bringing Gamera into these dark stories while still trying to retain some of the classic childlike. I don't know if childlike's the right word for it, but just classic characteristics of him akin to the Showa era. It just felt a bit like they were swaying between the two and it wasn't really connecting. But I think this, just exactly what you guys are saying. It brings all the mythology together. The tone of it works so well for this dark and gritty world with all the gore, with all the Gyaos with their eyes popping out, but with Gamera there as, the guardian of the universe. It works so well. But I was wondering, Biggo, what do you think of Iris? Because that's kind of, you mentioned when you're talking about Guardian of the Universe that we see the Gyaos and then we see Gamera and then it culminates into them meeting. We kind of get similar with this, right? Because we see Iris right from his birth, which is pretty cool.
So Iris, I really love Iris. Iris is not only like probably is definitely my favorite Gamera kaiju, but it's one of my favorite villains in a movie because Iris. So what I think Iris personally is with its origin is I don't think it's specifically a mutated Gauss. I just think it was made with the same template as the Gauss were, but because it was corrupted, Gauss also was like, it's like why they made multiple versions of Gamera until they got to the right one. There's a trial and error. They made the Gauss. The Gauss were the worst thing they could have made. And so they had to just keep trying until they get that perfect thing. And they did it with Gamera. And Iris is just kind of an example of that trial road ahead in terms of getting there, because they ultimately made something that, yes, bonds with the person, but doesn't keep it like a mutual thing, doesn't keep it where it's like where they are still their own separate thing. They just use their bond to get stronger. Iris needs Ayana to evolve. And I just love how Iris in this movie like manipulates her by like being like, Gamera killed my family too. Not saying that specifically, but that's how she said, you know, she's like, oh, Gamera killed its family too and everything. And like, how it just reels her in, and whenever she's taken away from Iris, its first thing it does is kill all of her extended family, so it only depends on her.
Yeah. It's crazy, and I love a lot of the iconography when I've seen like posters of this movie online, or even just going around the Blu-ray disc. Like I saw the yin and yang pop up a bit, like used as the symbolism for this movie, which I love that we've got Gamera who can have this connection with a human, form this bond, and together they can like grow to protect the Earth. You've got kind of the opposite of Gamera, right? You've got Iris, who is essentially the same bonds with someone, but that bond's filled with hate instead of love, which was really, really, really cool. What do you think of it gets steamy. It gets steamy a little bit, right? Biggo? It gets steamy.
You know things are going to get wild whenever there's a monster with tentacles.
Okay, so like, all right.
Also, real quick, can I just throw out there, the first design we see for Iris here, I really love what it looks like. It's this little like squid mollusk thing. And Biggo, I hope you'd appreciate that. When I saw it, I really thought it looked like it's going to be a deep cut of Virgil from Halo ODST.
It does. Yeah, it looks a lot like Virgil. Unfortunately, unlike Virgil, who was a sweetheart, and I would love for him to light a lighter for me for a cigar. Iris is something that I, especially as the movie goes on, remember when I said I would love to throw and kick a Dorap? Not because I hate it, just because I think it'd be funny.
Very kickable.
You need to figure out what it's like. Yeah,
I want to do it to Iris, but with pure hatred.
Oh,
motivations have changed.
You're telling me you're not feeling hot around Iris?
I love Iris as a monster, but I cannot trust it around an emotionally vulnerable teenager because what it will do.
I think it's so great that it starts off as like such this cute monster, something that like going into a blind, any audience member would be like, oh, like Iris.
Yeah.
And as it goes on, it just starts manipulating the heck out of this character. Out of Ayana.
Yeah, and there's a scene where it runs off and Ayana panics and she goes running for it, and we get a quick cut of like a dead animal completely drained.
Yeah.
But they don't give much focus. We just see it, and she finds it, and it starts like nudging her.
A lot of nudging.
And she like isn't like weirded by it. And so how I would do the scene to make it less weird is I would just have it where Iris just like kind of like starts standing up, and she notices like the thing on her, like the little amulet she has is like lighting up, and she holds it. And that's when Iris starts to like grow limbs and then wraps itself around her and engulfs her. It still would be weird, but it would have less like, it would be less of a scene where it's like, okay,
what's going on here?
Like this completely, like this is the elephant in the room of the movie. Like that's what happens.
For those of you who haven't watched the movie, this scene is wild where Ayana goes into the forest after Iris has brutally killed this animal. She pays no heed to the animal. She fawns after Iris.
Fawns?
Coddling it even.
There's no coddling
but it
going
gets to
on.
this point where like she just gets this look on her face and says, Iris, I'm so hot, and starts to unbutton her blouse. And every viewer unanimously just goes, what the heck is going on here?
It's clearly because her amulet was heating up her chest a little bit. So she just needed to like give it a bit of breathing
And then
space.
Iris envelops her in the tentacles galore.
Guys, it's innocent.
But the thing is based on what I've heard, this scene is kind of supposed to be interpreted as some form of them making love in some shape or form, obviously in a much more
becoming one,
because
kind of like Avatar with the hair extension, what shenanigans they do.
One thing that like I believe makes this work to an extent, even though it's still like what that's out of pocket for the movie. Is like beginning of the movie, you kind of feel like Ayana, she's very traumatized by what happens, and she clearly hates Gamera, but like she's kind of embarrassed by it.
Yeah.
It's something that like it feels like everyone pokes fun at her because once they found out that aspect of her, they're always like criticizing her because like Gamera saved us. What are you talking about?
Everyone else loves Gamera.
Gamera.
Like there's part of her that you could get the vibe that she, like, even though she hates Gamera, she doesn't feel right for hating Gamera.
Yeah.
You know, so she's isolated herself. She doesn't let anyone in at all except for her brother, and that's it. And even her brother doesn't hate Gamera, right?
No.
Like her brother never once is like, I hate Gamera. He just is completely indifferent. He doesn't talk about it. He wasn't affected by it.
She feels justified, but no one else sees it that way.
Until the Shibuya incident. And that's when like this is she picks up the stone, which is mentioned that no one was able to pick up the stone like ever. 150 years ago, sumo wrestler tried to pick it up, couldn't do it.
That's right.
And she's able to pick it up like no issue. And once Gamera destroys Shibuya, Iris hatches and she finds him. And once Iris starts planting the seeds of like, hey, I'm also a victim of him too, that's when the manipulation starts turning and she starts to really bond with Iris, because Iris is really the only closest thing she has that is literally her.
Yeah.
At least what she believes in. Like this is the closest thing I will ever get. I will trust this thing with my life because it understands me. And that scene of it just engulfing her is like the moment of no return.
Yeah.
After this, Ayana is just, it's going to take like heaven and earth to move this girl to finally see that this thing does not want her to properly bond. It does not want her to find comfort in. It wants her to just get to the next step of what it needs to be.
Does what it wants to do, what it needs to do. Yeah.
Because like what works with it is the fact you see this scene and it's like, I guess, beautiful, quote unquote, because of the music and how it's shot, even though it's still like weird. It's immediately followed up with that dead animal carcass we see.
Yeah, you go back to it.
Immediately followed up by it. And you're like, yeah, this is not right. There's a sinister thing at play.
I quite like it as well. I think you're spot on there with that assessment, because even though like it's a little bit weird how she says it, but that's how I saw it as well, was just completely like this unhealthy, messed up kind of bonding between the two. She's thinking Iris is one thing, something to relate to, and he's taken her for a lot more nefarious purposes.
It's like you're seeing that scene through her rose-tinted glasses.
But then you cut back to that animal carcass and you're seeing it for what it really is. Which is, it's real cool. And I loved her character. I think one of my downers, for me and Mykah, something we talked about a lot with the previous two was that the characters didn't really connect with us. I thought Ayana was just this hugely emotional character that I connected a lot with. Just a real unique character for these movies as well. And I loved the reoccurring cast. I loved cast members coming back, right? Nagamane's back, the bird expert, following up the Gauss situation with all the Gauss returning. We also get Osako again. Yeah. He's been in all three movies. And I loved his character progression as well, that like he failed at being this detective. He failed as being this security guard at this brewery. And now he's just like selling magazines on the sidewalk, not wanting anything to do with anyone. I thought it was hilarious.
It's amazing. So like we talked about like the lore and mythology, giving a lot of world building to Gamera and everything. But what works so well with the Osako is that it literally is like the real world building. Like this is what could happen to someone in a world like this, where he gets involved in this crazy thing with these man-eating monsters that shoot laser beams out of their mouths, and this giant turtle that he doesn't know what a turtle is, but that we know it's a turtle, and that terrifies him. And he steps down from his role and he's like, okay, well, I'll just be a security guard. These weird bug things show up to his place of work and start drinking all the beer. He's just like, or at least eating all the glass.
They were guzzling it down.
They were at least eating the glass. Yeah. And that gives him such a massive amount of like anxiety and stress that he eventually, like, he decides to just bleed into the crowd, just be a part of it, disappear, and just, be just another face. Right. And then the Shibuya incident, which we always go back to because it's just such a great, like, it's not a cold open, right? It's not that. But like the way, like, your first impression of Gamera in this movie outside of the nightmare sequence is, because the nightmare sequence, we're seeing it from someone's, like, from their dream where it happened 4 years ago. And we saw the events of it. And we knew Gamera was the good guy in that situation. But now... And what this movie does really well is that it allows you to doubt Gamera the same way Ayana does. Because now you're like, yeah, should we have Gamera around? Because like those guys didn't really do anything, and he just completely destroyed a complete district. He killed and injured like 15 to 20,000 people. That's what the movie says. He was that crazy with it. But like, we get to see Osako just like go through this, and it feels like he's cursed with these monsters. Like everywhere he goes, they follow, and he finally caves in when he has a proper like reconnection with God, I keep messing up her name.
Nagamine, right?
Nagamine. Yeah. I've seen these movies all the time, and yet like the name's always just like
they're tricky.
I'll imagine what they say.
Jadora. If in doubt, come back to Jadora.
Jadora, yeah. I feel better when I say it like that.
Because my hang-ups with Osako in the last movies was because I don't feel like he really had this character arc. Mm-hmm. But when you look at his character arc at the end of this movie, it feels throughout the 3 movies we've kind of seen this whole change in him, and it really is full circle, and it is really in depth and developed within all 3 movies. And I actually, looking back at it, I quite like that. Mm-hmm. Like when you do look at this trilogy as a whole and each of these characters as a whole with all 3 of these movies, like it is this really full circle experience.
Yeah, I do like how coming to the end of all this, you look back and you see like these whole characters' entire journeys. I still have a few hang-ups with how the characters were treated and portrayed, and how I feel like they didn't get enough time to shine really in the first movie or the second movie. Mm. But I'm very happy that for me, at least the third movie, it felt like it redeemed a lot of those aspects. And like right at the finish line, we get to spend a lot of time with these characters and really investing our feelings and viewership towards them, so that at the end point of this trilogy, you feel so much closer to everyone because of it.
Yeah. Like I love how there's like constant, like so many moments in this movie where we see characters like arguing perspective.
Yeah.
Like there's this one point where like the game developer he's like explaining how Gauss was made to like wipe the slate clean, kill all humanity, all of that. And then Nagamine, she's just like, well, Gamera was made to go against that arrogance as well, to fight against that. Like why would the Gauss be made if Gamera immediately like is the contradiction to it? Gamera was made to fend off that. And we just see these constant like different perspectives just clashing out. And we see like Asagi, who knows Gamera more than anyone else, having to fight Ayana to like have her try to understand Gamera doesn't want to fight. He doesn't want to do this, but she just like is blinded by her rage and is blinded by this monster that had taken advantage of her the entire movie. And it's just great seeing all these different, like all of these things just clash with each other, take each other on head on.
I think you're hitting the nail on the head that this movie, when it comes down to it, it really is about perspective, not just, I mean, obviously it's there. You see those who are caught in the wake of Gamera's destruction and those who look up to Gamera. I mean, Nagamine kind of blindly just looks up to Gamera as a hero, whereas Ayana looks up to him blindly as a villain. And we as the audience are kind of invited to see both sides of that and form our own perspective. But then even like, just like you're saying, the details in each of these people's lives, like with Nagamine, we're brought in to see another perspective of even her life when early on we listen to some of her voice messages and we hear that she is so caught up in her work that she's not in contact with her parents. They're wondering why she didn't call for their birthday. It's like this work on Gauss and Gamera's kind of consumed her. So I love how it just opens up and gives us these perspectives on different people's lives and areas they might not even realize. It's extraordinary what this movie does, really.
Yeah, and like I really enjoy how they like how there's like a bigger picture to it, right? Like everyone, like the bigger picture is Gamera is here to defend us, right? Humanity is not a weakness to Gamera, it is a strength. And it's like everyone, so many people struggle seeing that bigger picture. And the only person who truly believes in that bigger picture is Asagi. She knows that there is greater things than the, like, obviously what happens is still a tragedy. Gamera destroying the Shibuya district. Yeah. Ayana losing her parents. All of that is still an absolute tragedy, but it was for something that if it wasn't taken care of at the moment, we would be gone.
Yep.
Legion would have completely wiped out the world. The Gauss would have overpopulated and killed us all.
We wouldn't be here without him. Yeah.
And Gamera just, I would say, like I mentioned earlier, he's at this point desperate. Like, because of the things he did in the last movie, there was consequences to it. And now the Gauss are all over the place and they're spreading worldwide constantly. So Gamera has to do everything he can, no half measures. He has to go through with it. And we as the viewer are like, maybe some people do have a point. Maybe Gamera isn't someone to be trusted. There has to be another way than doing the destruction he causes, but there's a bigger picture.
I think it does it so well to the point that, like, where that first fight between Gauss and Gamera happens, I wasn't even sure if this was the Gamera we knew. I'm like, oh shoot, is there like an evil
More nefarious Gamera?
Fake Gamera turns out to be Mykah Gamera.
Well, I mean, the perspective does come back to as well that we're seeing Ayana's like flashback, her family getting killed, her looking out the window and seeing Gamera very much from her perspective, and she sees Gamera as this like wide-eyed, terrified, spiky-looking, like traumatic creature. And it's not what Gamera looks like to us or what Gamera really looks like. You're just seeing it's really tainted her view of it, and she's looking at him in a completely different way.
Yeah, I really love this. The movie has a specific costume for Gamera called Trauma Gamera.
Is it Trauma?
Trauma Gamera, which they use for those nightmare sequences almost. And this movie is directed by Shusuke Kaneko, who also directed GMK, and it has like the same design as the GMK Godzilla, the fully white eyes, crazy spiked figure. Yeah, it works so well for him.
And what's so great is, like, later in the movie, we actually like finally get to see, because like her entire life she was stuck on the one moment of her losing her parents, which she also blames herself a lot for too, because the reason why they were even in Tokyo in the first place, because she was getting her appendix removed.
That's right.
And we finally, at the moment at the end of the movie where like Gamera, like, he is seemingly killed by Iris, and she finally has that moment where it's like they're finally going to converge, they're finally going to become one. She finally is like, I need to get out of this, because the one person who in the movie has consistently cared about her is just wiped away by Iris. Like no issue. Yeah. That's the moment where she realizes,
dude and his dagger.
Okay, this is actually bad. And it's too late. She gets sucked in. And we finally get to see that moment where she has this full reflection. You finally see that dream, that memory completed. And she sees Gauss.
Yeah.
And that's when it starts to kind of make sense the moment. Like, Gamera he didn't kill my parents. That wasn't his intention. He didn't just destroy a building and then just did on his thing. There was a reasoning on why he was there, right?
Yeah, I just thought that hit so hard. And again, it's a great like start and end for her character as well, just to reflect on that, whether or not she realizes like Gauss was part of that destruction as well, or just like you were saying, Biggo, that Gamera had a reason for doing it. it's just marks that shift, and it's just great that the movie kind of bookends with it, right? Her perspective and then her realizing what really happened.
That entire sequence in I think it's a warehouse, in like the final few minutes of that film, where all the human cast comes together and
Everyone converges.
Everyone converges, and you see Gamera and Iris fighting in this really enclosed space, almost like it's almost like you're in the front row seats, just watching this huge showdown happen in front of you. And yeah, I think that whole sequence is just so great. And I think at that point, more than any other point in the trilogy, is where the human nature, if you will, of Gamera really shines through, because he gets his hand he gets pierced through the chest by Iris first off, then his hand gets pierced to the wall, and he ends up having to fire blast off his own hand
to save Ayana,
cool.
right?
Yeah.
Pull her out.
And what I love about that moment is like, hey, Ayana, like the reason why Gamera even finally like saves Ayana, like goes after her, is when she's saying, "Someone save me." And there's that moment where like you see her, and like the scene, I'll admit, doesn't look that great. You see like that poorly CGI eyeball, and she's like kind of like green screen on it.
Classic.
It like the motion's there, but it is a little distracting. But the part I love is when it fades to black, and for a few seconds you just see like this bright light behind her. But if you look at it, it's the silhouette of Gamera's hand grabbing onto her.
Yeah.
And then he pulls her out. It's like the moment she finally like allows someone to help her, which is something she's never done once in the movie. She's never asked anyone for help. The moment she's saying, "Someone save me," Gamera saves her.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's great. Yeah. Even the detail of like in the flashback, Gamera killed her family because he had no idea that they were there. He was focused on Gyaos. But as soon as he realizes that someone's in danger, like he sacrifices himself to save her. And admittedly, you do get to that point where he... is it the mana that gives him a glowing hand? No. I'm not sure. He gives a separate glowing hand for the showdown.
So what happens is... so for one, it's not a warehouse. It's like this train...
It's an airport, right? Or
it's like a train station, which the reason why I love it is because...
the scale throws me off, yeah.
Like unlike... Well, they actually had to upscale it too. It was actually too small for the two monsters, so they had to make it a little bigger to fit them too. The reason why I love that setting is because like in the last two movies, Gamera and the other monster are fighting in this big city, and it's like this huge spectacle, wide shots galore. It really adds to like how personal the story is. Like it's very emotional. There is spectacle. Everything's a lot more like the stakes are still high, but they're not like into the world kind of high, at least when it comes to Gamera and Iris within the moment. So you get this super personal fight between you two, where it's like this fight for this child who desperately needs help, but is so like ingrained and blinded by this hatred that it's like this fight for like this soul to be the soul of this person, this victim, to just be like taken to the light, while the other one's trying to like take her into this like deep, dark place where it's too late for her to realize like this is the worst thing that could happen. But the mana part. So what it is Iris stabs Gamera in the hand and starts like sucking his energy out, like it's pulsating through his like spike arm. And then it like Iris opens up its like tentacles, and instead of shooting like the beams that are kind of like Gauss laser beams, it's like starting to like form the fireballs Gamera shoots, and Gamera blows off his arm, and it's pretty much Gamera taking his power back from Iris and using that to just slam his fist into him. It's such a great scene.
I like it. It's great.
I really liked that final fight. I love the way Iris looks as well in the so fully evolved form.
Oh, when it's flying.
So unique.
Yeah. When
it's flying as well, and the tentacles are up and like the wings.
It looks like a Final Fantasy.
It does, like a video game, anime. I just love how different it looks visually. But then my favorite part might be the way its eyes work, because we kind of see holes where eyes should be, and it allows light from like the central like orb,
a central iris, if you will,
the central iris of Iris. It looks real awesome visually. And that scene, like I think the director in all these movies, Kaneko, he makes scenes pop visually, and just the way it's just shot, or even just the way he does creative things like the pan from Gamera to Iris to Ayana, which fades through the fire. It's just I love watching him, man. He makes these things look real cool.
Oh, it's so nice. I like that whole build up, like the sky battle where Gamera starts spinning into like Iris looks so good, and then like the way they like Iris lands, and it's like this really great like tracking shot where like the Gamera's pulling back and Iris is walking forward, and you get this shot where Iris is all the way in the background. It's in Kyoto, which a fun fact, they studied on how both the Shibuya district and Kyoto would be like if they were set on fire.
Wow.
Shibuya is made out of a lot of concrete, so like while there is fire, it doesn't spread. But Kyoto is like a very old place, has a lot of stuff made out of wood and very flammable materials, so like it engulfs in flames way more. And what I love is just like that scene of like Iris with its like Gamera's blasting fireballs at Iris, and Iris just starts deflecting them, and the entire area engulfs in flame, and Gamera just like flies right above the characters and lands into the ground. And it's such a nice scene. And my favorite thing about the transition, and this is like kind of like that Lord of the Rings thing where like, oh, this is the scene where he broke his foot kicking the bucket, like kicking that's that moment for me. But it's like, it's raining, and I love how they established there's like a typhoon too earlier in the movie.
Yeah, on its way. That's cool.
And like there's this scene where like Gamera roars and it looks like rain is splitting on his chin, like it's hitting his chin and spraying off of it. That's sand coming out of the animatronic's mouth. Like they had sand coming out of it to create that effect, and it looks so good.
I read this. It's such a good detail. It looks so realistic.
It's so good. And like the flame because I love it's like Gamera and Iris, and it's like really ties into the main center of this conflict is Ayana.
Yeah.
Like she's the point of this. Like Gamera is doing all of this to save her, and he's waiting for that moment where she asks for help. And it's such a powerful moment. I love it. This movie, like it just has such an emotional ending, and like Gamera's seen throughout this entire movie to be like this very like antagonistic, menacing creature who like does not care about anyone. But there's this moment where like he's seen Nagamine and Asagi just trying to bring Ayana back to life after Gamera kills Iris, and Gamera's just watching them. Like he genuinely cares the state of this child.
Yeah, it's great.
And it's so good.
Yeah.
And I assume he either brings her back to consciousness or brings her back. That's kind of up to interpretation.
Biggo.
It's definitely Gamera, right? Because Mykah, I want your medical insight, right? Nurse Mykah, can you please join the call? Because was she doing CPR on her stomach? Is that what I saw?
Guys,
is that a viable way to do it?
Asagi is doing the Asagi. It is Asagi. Yeah,
Nagamine is doing it.
It's Nagame. It's Nagame. Oh my god, I can't say her name.
No, it is. It is Nagamine.
She's the one. She's the one doing it. Asagi. It's this point where like Gamera's watching her do it, and Asagi actually makes eye contact with Gamera, and that's when Gamera does the roar. But yeah, it's like Nagamine doing the CPR thing where she's using her hands.
I was taking CPR notes.
Look, Nagamine is the worst CPR giver I think I've ever seen in any fictional TV movie.
She was hitting that stomach pretty well. I don't know what you're talking about.
You do it on the chest, not the stomach. 2, she was doing these so freaking slow. She should have done them at least twice as fast. 3, look, all you listeners here, in a real life scenario, usually people don't come to consciousness just after giving CPR and a few breaths. You do that so you can wait for the defib to come.
So you're telling me every movie I've ever watched in my whole life, when someone gives someone else CPR and then miraculously come back to life, is just...
I think the worst offender, and you know this, is that scene in Lost where Jack is like punching Charlie's chest.
That's right.
That's what should have happened. Gamera should have punched her to bring her back. He should have done the fire fist and just...
Yeah.
Gamera needs to do CPR. That's how fast
Use
he was
his
going.
light fist. Yeah, it's so great. That whole... You know what? I'll save that for my final thoughts.
All right. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's so much more to go over, but I've got a few bits of trivia, and then maybe we can just go around and read out the rest of our notes to give some final thoughts.
But first, I think we do need to talk about the ending of the movie.
Yeah. Please. I can't believe we haven't. Yeah.
So, and here's the thing. Whenever I grew up, everyone talked about how they didn't like this ending. This movie ended on a cliffhanger. They didn't like it. You know, this or that. Because, well, the movie has been building up through the entire time. The Gauss are showing up all over the world. Mm-hmm. And after the defeat of Iris, and after Gamera's kind of put in a weakened state because he's missing an arm and he has a hole in his stomach, a giant horde of Gauss in the thousands start to make its way to Kyoto.
It looks crazy.
And it
the
looks
amount of these
amazing.
things flying through the storm.
And it's like the moment where like the JSDF finally sees the bigger picture. Do not go after Gamera. We have to go against the Gauss. And
like insurmountable odds, the amount of them there. Yeah.
And like it ties in, because there's a moment where a character says humanity is Gamera's greatest weakness. Like who made Gamera showed up in Sendai, where he like kind of died in the middle of that movie, right? But in this movie, it's shown that like it's kind of implied that as long as you believe Gamera can do it, he will win. Like even in such a terrible state, which you could argue the reason why he was put in such bad states because everyone was doubting him. Like they just saw him as a menace. He needs to be taken care of. He was fighting over a child who hated him. And it's like at this moment where it's like all these characters, including the child, including Ayana, who despised him for the last like 4 years of her life, finally comes to terms that Gamera is not something to hate. There is a bigger picture. And as long as you believe in Gamera, he will win.
Yeah, I must say it's such a hype ending. And I was in the camp that I was ready to watch Gamera go up against these Gauss. I was like, man, this is going to be
Gamera 4.
Yeah, I was like,
there is a fan film of that.
I heard that. Yeah. But I was so ready for like the final battle, not actually to be against Iris, but it's to stop this Gauss threat once and for all. So it was a bit of whiplash when it like fades out and the movie finishes. But actually the first bit of trivia I had, because this is going to be a seamless transition into trivia, is that the director, Kaneko, came out after the movie because people had so many questions about it. He said that obviously Gamera survives his battle with the Hyper Gauss.
Yeah.
Which
we all believe.
As to your point, right? Like that's when people start to believe in Gamera again, and that's when the Defense Force turn away from Gamera to actually fight the real threat, the Gauss, when Ayana is saved. So the more I think about it, the more I actually do like that ending, that it's not so much a cliffhanger, but it's just that Gamera will keep fighting these battles for us, and obviously he will win.
I like it as well because in the last movie with Legion, I think in the big final fight there, you still had a good portion of the military, and definitely one of the colonels was still, very stout. Stout? Is that the word
it was very
for?
stout.
Very stout in his conviction that Gamera was the bad one. It's like this is, the first fight we have where everyone collectively is standing behind Gamera.
So of course we don't even need to watch it, right? Even though it would be cool because we know the outcome. We know what's going to happen.
But also, like, the movie shows that, like, Gamera had at least evolved to a state within the last few movies where, like, a Gauss beam doesn't even affect him. Like, there's that scene in Shibuya where it, like, hits him in his hand and, like, there's no blood.
Yeah. Their eyes are just going to pop out.
Yeah.
They're going to fall to the floor. Like, he doesn't need to do a thing. Another bit of trivia I had was that Hideaki Anno, who obviously created Neon Genesis Evangelion, then went on to make Shin Godzilla. He actually made a documentary for this movie, Gamera in 1999. I really want to track it down, but yeah, he collaborated with the director of this, and he made a documentary. And it's just really cool just to see that the Godzilla Gamera connections, like there's a lot of them.
It makes a lot of sense why he would do that, because his best friend literally did the special effects for all three of these movies, Shinji Higuchi, who also co-directed Shin Godzilla and directed Shin Ultraman, where Anno wrote it. So yeah, like it's really fun how they like a lot of that, especially in the 90s, a lot of that kind of like connects, because that's also around the time Evangelion was being made as well. So there's a lot of bleed through in both of those.
The same creatives kind of mingling on these same similar projects and working together. It's just really cool to see how it all connects up. Another bit I had here was what you mentioned, Biggo, that there was a fan-made sequel called Gamera 4 Truth, which was released after this, and it features Yukijiro Hotaru reprising his role as Osako.
Hey.
And apparently it's been screened a few times in Japan in 2003, but it hasn't had an official release anywhere else. So I don't even know if you can watch this thing online, but I'm so curious.
There's like few second clips that like made it on the internet like a few years ago, and that's it. Like there's no movie.
This needs to be our goal for Podzilla, is to try to track this thing down.
Yeah.
Podzilla can become famous for Gamera.
That's what G-Force is hiding.
No,
that's what G-Force. They'll probably cut the feed after I say this, but G-Force is hiding Gamera 4.
G-Force wouldn't
G-Force
do like that.
Doesn't hide anything ever, Biggo. They're a very trustworthy organization.
Yeah, I have a very high opinion of them.
Yep, we love
Podzilla. Officially endorses.
So we just want
G-Force.
to, those thoughts from Biggo were his own, and we do not endorse them as Podzilla.
even though he is on our show, separate thoughts, separate opinions.
Yeah.
Just so that can be cleared.
So I have a little bit of trivia.
Yeah, please.
The actress who played Ayana when she was young is actually the real life actress's younger sister. And you actually see both of them in GMK kind of acting as like a reference to the Shobijin in that one shot. That's them.
Oh,
I think I remember reading about this. That's such a good little tie-in.
I also watched Battle Royale recently, and I think they're both in that as well.
Oh yes, they are both in that.
Yeah.
And the other piece of trivia I have is this one relates to Noriaki Yuasa, who made pretty much like all the Showa Gamera films.
That's right. Yep.
Pretty much. He was very vocal while these movies were being made, kind of the same way Ashiro Honda was vocal about the Heisei era, where it's just like these movies, they're not good, they're not
weren't his vision.
Ashiro Honda didn't like the fact that they were making 80-meter monsters, and he was very anti Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. But Yuasa was just not a fan of the direction of these movies. They thought they were too grown up. They needed to be for kids. And I believe it was a screening of this film at G-Fest. Both Kaneko and Yuasa was there. And this is from the personal experience from one of the guys on the commentary track. I believe it's Ed Godzeski or Steve Reifel. I could have both of their experiences confused. But they noticed at one point, and it was like right at the moment of the Shibuya incident, Yuasa walked out. He just walked right out.
Really?
And he did not come back.
So he didn't even come back to see kind of the perspectives all make sense. He just leaves when he sees Gamera's this dark, destructive force.
Because like he already like had his mind. He didn't like how mature and grown up these were. So like just imagine like this supposedly kid-friendly character you made just like kill many people.
Wow.
And like in this brutal fashion. So yeah, he walked out. And yeah, it's like, it is kind of sad to know that he wasn't a big fan of these movies, but that's kind of just happens with a lot of these original creators for these movies. Honda didn't really like the Heisei films. Yuasa didn't like the Heisei films.
Yeah, it does sound unfortunate though. Like I would have loved to see his thoughts if he did see this whole movie in its full length, because I feel like a lot of it would have clicked into place.
I'm curious if he ever did get around to watching it again. Because I feel like since the whole trilogy has been almost leading up to this final movie, you kind of need to see the end of it to get the full vision of what's been happening.
Yeah. Another thing is, I remember Kaneko just said that when someone came up to him asking what would be better, more time or money, he said more time, which ultimately that's what Gamera 3 got. Like the last two movies had like Gamera Guardian Universe was made on a $5 million budget and it looks a little better than some of the Godzilla Heisei movies that cost $10 million.
Yeah.
Gamera 2 was made in less than a year and still looks amazing. But like this movie, like you could tell, like even though some of the CGI is like a little someplace obviously dated.
It's a bit dodgy.
But like there's like some miniature shots that are like beyond, like that is the best we're ever going to get when it comes to like miniature work and cinematography, when it comes to tokusatsu kind of stuff. Like it looks immaculate. Like you're seeing a living, breathing monster right in front of you, and it looks gorgeous. And I do agree with that perspective. Money is important when making these movies, but having more time clearly shows with Gamera 3.
Big difference, eh? Yeah. I've got one more bit of trivia, guys, and this is going to be a big one for Podzilla out there, because this is a bit of a crazy. This is probably the craziest bit of trivia yet. So there was originally supposed to be an addition to the movie where there was going to be Gamera interacting with a cow-calf pair of North Pacific right whales in the Gamera graveyard in the sunken ruins of Atlantis.
A cow-calf pair of whales.
I don't know what that means, but apparently it was going to be a specific tie-in reference to the 1962 Daiei film called Killer Whale.
Ooh.
We were about to have another Gamera adjacent movie in Killer Whale.
Hey, this is like adjacent to the adjacent.
This is nearly adjacent, but not quite. It was
enough.
cut. Would it have been a better movie with the cow-calf pair of North Pacific right whales? Who can tell?
Probably. I'm sad we won't get to see that full vision realized.
But yeah, that's all for trivia. And I know there's lots we didn't touch on, but Biggo, did you kind of want to go over any notes you had left and maybe even give up your final thoughts and come up with a rating for the film?
Let me pull it up because I had like 70 things listed up. Let me see.
We got time.
Let me see if I had anything mentioned.
I think we're getting charged for this phone call, but we've got time.
Yeah, I'm not gonna pay the bill. All right, sorry.
That's what the Patreon funds are for.
Yeah.
I think that's about it. Outside of like, I always found it interesting that the movie ends with the title Gamera, the absolute guardian of the universe. It's like, oh, sorry, I thought I was uncertain, but all right.
It's like a Dune situation, right?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
I love retitling it.
I thought that was the name of like a sequel I didn't realize existed. I'm like, oh, we have to watch the Absolute Guardian now.
Which I guess it works because like a huge point in the movie is doubting Gamera, and by the end of it, you realize, oh no, Gamera is the guardian of the universe. There's nothing to it.
Yeah,
all right,
he's locked in. It's absolute.
Yeah. So it's absolute. So I guess it works. I just always just like, wow, what a choice of words. So yeah, I would say rating. All right, so a rating is related to the elephant in the room. I'm going to give this movie 5 irises I'm so hot out of 5.
I think you need to say that 5 times, Biggo, just to make the emphasis.
Iris, I'm so hot. Iris, I'm so hot. Iris, I'm so hot. Iris, I'm so hot. Iris, I'm so hot.
I think we need to put a NSFW warning on this episode.
This is our first explicit episode.
Oh, God.
Who knows?
So
5 out of 5 though. No, I love it. And I think, to be honest, with these movies, we didn't know much about Gamera before we started the Podzilla journey, and obviously like started learning lots about the Gamera franchise and all the tie-ins and people saying that the Heisei era or the Heisei trilogy was some of the best kaiju movies ever made. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of been like, it's been looming there as like this huge thing, and we're gonna love it and it's gonna be amazing. And it was kind of for us this big event, right? Like, we're gonna be watching Gamera 3, Revenge of Iris. We didn't think the previous 2 were incredible. We still really enjoyed them. So I was really interested going into this one just to see what we thought. But I gotta say, man, it blew me away just how this played with perspectives as it just showed all these characters converging together with a lot of time dedicated this time around. I mean, the movie as well has a bit of a longer runtime, and I think it really benefited for giving us time, even personal time, with a lot of these characters in their own worlds with their own perspectives.
For sure.
The visuals are so good. Just like you were saying before, Gamera in the rain, even Gamera, his silhouette against the fire. It just looks so spectacular. And I guess just to say a few negatives, like, the CGI is pretty noticeably bad at times with Iris, but then I got to give it to them. Like, I don't know how they would have pulled that off. Yeah. Just with the way Iris is, with the amount of tentacles and things coming off him any other way. But it does stand out to me a little bit just at times that the CGI is a bit distracting. But I'm really blown away with Revenge of Iris. I don't think I've seen another kaiju flick like this. It would just be a bit of the CGI, a bit of time that was devoted to a few things. Like, I think we cut back and forth towards the military a bit, and there's this one military commander that we're just given to for a whole lot of, him telling us what the plan is with Gamera and who the military is attacking, and a whole lot of this information we didn't really need to know. And I would have loved if we had a character we cared about there. But it wasn't. It didn't take away too much from me at all, and I can see why they needed it. But I think in the end of the day, guys, I love this movie. I'm probably going to give it, what's the line, Biggo? Is it Iris, I'm so hot?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to give it Iris, I'm so hot. Iris, I'm so hot. Iris, I'm so hot. Iris, I'm so hot. Iris, I'm...
Oh...
4.5 out of 5. I think I'm nearly there, and I think upon revisiting this whole trilogy, looking at it as a whole, I think next time I give them a watch, I could even be pushed to a 5 out of 5. But this was exceptional. I loved it.
Awesome.
What do you think, Mykah?
Man, it's good to see you guys loving it so much at the end here. Yeah, some last final thoughts I had is...
You're going to give it a 2 out of 5 or something? Is that what you're...
Oh, even less, man.
Oh, I was already expecting.
Iris, I'm so cold.
Iris, I'm not hot at all.
No, something I really appreciate about this trilogy, looking back on it now, is I think you can't help but compare it to the Godzilla Heisei series of movies there, especially because they were made very much so around the same period, with a lot of similar themes to it. And I feel like for those movies, you had very few through lines throughout the whole plot.
It's just really Mykah and Baby Godzilla.
Yeah, Mykah and Baby Godzilla. And I really appreciate about this movie is, like we've talked about, very consistent mythology that keeps being added to across the three films. Not even just our like main priestess of Gamera, Asagi. It's not just her who you see returning. You also get all these other characters like Asako and the ornithologist, whose name escapes me right now. Nagamine. Yeah, it's really cool just to see like there isn't just a few cameo stars here and there, but it feels like you have this cast who you slowly over time become more familiar with. That being said, though, I feel like in this movie especially, there were still a few just weird additions to the cast and some weird like little moments as well. Like I was so hyped and ready for that one other teenage kid with the 10-inch dagger to do something crazy with it. And that culminates with him throwing it at Iris and it nicking.
He nicked her forehead. He broke her out of the trance.
Yeah, like that's what snaps her out of it a little bit.
I mean, credit to him.
You just wanted to see him stab someone.
I wanted to see him stab Iris in the iris. But yeah, I love that whole final fight with Gamera and Iris to the point where like I think my favorite fight in this trilogy is the Gamera versus Legion fight. I think that is fantastic, and Gamera drifting is always a high point for me. And one thing I quite liked about this movie is once Gamera and Iris ended up on the ground together, there isn't actually a lot that happens in the fight. I think once you get in that train station, like Iris pierces Gamera, once pierces his hand, Gamera cuts off his own hand and then punches Iris, and that's pretty much it. And I feel like that is pretty thematically consistent with the movie. Like we've seen Gamera at his high point, we all know what he's about, but those last few moments of the movie are so dedicated to seeing Gamera's human side and how much he is a guardian, not just for the universe, but for the inhabitants of the universe as well. Really hits home for me.
So you don't see it as much of a negative thing that there wasn't a lot more to the actual fight because of the emotional aspect? Or
Yeah, and I think that links in with the cliffhanger as well. I think I was ready for that Gauss fight too, but I think that it works real well, that being left as an off-screen fight. And I know that Shusuke Kaneka, he wanted to do another movie. I think that this movie in particular just wasn't the most received out of the three.
well received.
And because of that, there could have been more films. There haven't been any more. I know that Kaneko potentially wants to do another film, so I've got my fingers crossed for another Gamera movie. You know, after finishing the trilogy, I'm on board the Gamera train.
How hot are you?
In the train station
Is what I want to know.
You know what? Here we go. Iris, I'm so hot.
Mike, that's disgusting.
Iris, I'm so hot.
That is gross.
Iris,
man.
whoa, I'm so hot. Iris, I'm so hot. Iris, I'm so.
Is that 4.5?
I think I'm the same. I think 4.5.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
It is like night and day compared to what you thought of Guardian compared to this. It is crazy.
Yeah. I think this movie has so much more in terms of like spending time with characters and character development, not just of the human characters, but also of Gamera itself. And I don't know. The whole thing just seems a lot more clean to me than the other two movies did.
And even like the side characters, like we haven't even really talked about them, but the guy who comes up with that Sega game about mana and comes into the story with that girl, like even though they're not as well developed as the others, they've got some real cool, memorable quirks to them. Like I know that guy in particular is moving around his hand a lot and putting his like finger on his lip and making
a lot of gestures.
Yeah.
Fun fact, he's in Shin Godzilla.
Is he really?
He's one of the politicians. He's in there. And Osako, the guy who plays Osako, he's the dude who's in the forest trying to unalive himself using one of the Guardian Stones, and he falls through and he finds Ghidorah. He's that guy.
Oh, in GMK.
Yeah, in GMK.
I remember him.
My gosh. Yeah. To be honest, I think, because I know we were a bit lukewarm on GMK as well, I think like going back and watching GMK and watching these movies, knowing a bit more about the director, a bit more about the team, and seeing the full picture, I think it would be pretty game changing. So I'm looking forward to doing that.
Or even just being used to the directing style and the storytelling style. Yeah.
But Biggo, this was great, man. I loved the movie. And it was so great to have you on to talk about it, too.
That's what really mattered. I still want you guys to change your opinions on the first two, but the third one is like my favorite, if not in the top 3 favorite kaiju movies ever made. So it means a lot that you guys like it. I'm glad you guys did.
I completely get it now as well, and just see why people hear all this as being as great as it is, because it's not only that the kaiju fights are so great and the narrative's so great, it's just that it's so different. Like, again, it's telling this story and these perspectives that we haven't seen before. So I think I'm going to come back to this and say it is one of my favorites eventually, or at least how they do the story.
Well, what's better, though, the Birth of Mothra trilogy or this one?
Oh.
Biggo.
Let's go on to some messages from our listeners, eh? You can write into Podzilla, podzillapod@gmail.com with your thoughts on any of the movies we cover, any messages for us. And we have 3 reviews in for Revenge of Iris. First one here from Joseph Berry. And Joseph says, while I'm not sure if it's the best in the trilogy, it's most certainly the most unique, with the girl raising Iris from this cute little thing to this horrible monster, and Gamera taking on several Gauss. It really has a ton to offer. The CGI is rough in some scenes, however the practicals are some of the best, and the human plotline is easily the best of the 3, so that helps as well. I'll give it 4 dehydrated pulled apart bodies out of 5 from Joseph.
Yeah, those bodies were not so hot.
They look great, though.
They
The
did.
gore and the practical effects, those like zombie guys with the life sucked from them, that looked awesome. We have another review from Spencer, and Spencer says, monsters are tragic beings. They are born too tall, too strong, too heavy. They are not evil by choice. That is their tragedy. And when they decide to throw down in a major city, it can become your problem too. It's hard to think of another movie that sells the pants-soiling terror of being stuck between 2 giant monsters, of knowing that all it takes is one wrong move from a skyscraper-sized behemoth to wipe out an entire city block and everyone in it. As incredible as the kaiju action is, it's as grand as it is claustrophobic, as fun as it is intense. It's really genre-defining stuff. But the movie isn't all monsters, and the human story also works very well as a full-circle send-off to the trilogy. Ayana's destructive spiral of hate and grief adds another layer of nuance to our understanding of Gamera and his place in the world. I really loved this movie, but I couldn't stop thinking about how less cool it would have been if Ayana's cat had a different name, like Whiskers or Mittens or Crunchwrap Supreme. Might not look as cool on a poster. I give Gamera 3 Revenge of Iris a solid 5 out of 5 dismembered turtle hands.
Wow.
Wait, what was Ayana's cat's name?
Was it Iris?
Yeah.
I think it was Iris.
Oh, Flip, I must have completely missed that.
Yeah, man.
Actually, speaking of titles on a poster, there's a really popular title in Japan that's used in a lot of posters for it. Gamera 3, The Incomplete Struggle.
Really?
Incomplete
Yeah.
struggle. What's
Actually-
incomplete about? Oh, I guess it doesn't have an ending.
Yeah.
They didn't like the cliffhanger, so it's Gamera 3, The Incomplete Struggle.
Really sets those expectations for the viewers.
Thanks for that review, Spencer. That was awesome. And we have one last one here from Mothra Fanboy. Mothra Fanboy says, hey, Drake brothers, brief message on Gamera 3. Best of the trilogy. It's just fine. 4 Gamera hater girls out of 5. Anyway, I'm changing my rating on Gamera Super Monster.
Ooh.
Originally, I gave it a 3.5 out of 5, but now I see that it's way too low.
Yes.
I'm now deciding it's 5 out of 5 for Super Monster.
Yes.
It's the 3rd best Gamera movie, only behind Gamera vs. Gearon, my beloved, and Gamera the Brave. I cannot wait for the Gamera the Brave episode next week.
Ooh, that's going to be good.
See ya.
Mothra Fanboy, I'm so hot after that message.
I think he was just rubbing salt in the wound for you, Biggo. He's like, Biggo loves Iris. I'm just going to say Super
I
Monster's
love how he
better.
says, it's just fine, 4 out of 5.
Yeah, just a fine movie, 4 out of 5.
Oh, it's whatever.
Thanks, Mothra Fanboy. And yeah, just like Mothra Fanboy said, next week we're touching on Gamera the Brave, which came out in 2006. It's a Heisei era Gamera film, but it's completely unconnected to this Gamera trilogy, which is going to be super interesting, like a standalone movie. And the synopsis goes, a young boy in a peaceful seaside town gets more than he bargained for when he takes home a mysterious egg. When it hatches, out comes a baby turtle that grows into a new version of Gamera. But will it become powerful enough in time to defeat the rampaging monster Zetus.
Oh my gosh, I completely forgot that we haven't yet seen the full cast of Gamera's monsters he fights against. Who the heck is Zetus?
Hey, have you seen Gamera the Brave, Biggo?
I have, and so I think it's a great movie. I genuinely like Gamera the Brave. It's got a lot of heart. It's got a lot of love to it. But there's something about Gamera that I just can never, ever get past. All right, and you'll get to it when you get to it. But there's
in the movie specifically,
there's a certain thing missing, or it's missing, and they do give him something else instead that will throw you guys off nonstop, and you'll just have to see it when you get to it.
He doesn't have a shell.
He's not missing a shell, is he?
No, the shell's there. The shell's there.
He doesn't have eyes. He doesn't have a mouth.
But there's one aspect, and I hate that, like, that it bothers me so much because the movie's really cute and it's got a good heart. There's one scene with like a bunch of kids at the end that I'm like, oh, that's so good. It really ties in like Gamera being the friend of all children, you know. But that's that roar, man. It's the roar.
Oh, it's the roar's missing. It's different.
You'll have to get to it. Yeah, it's
okay. Yeah,
we'll see it.
We'll see how we find it. That's super interesting because it's such an iconic roar.
Yeah.
And even when you hear it like in Iris, like it just feels so good to hear Gamera roar like that.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh man. But yeah, join us next week for Gamera the Brave. Send in any thoughts to our email. And Biggo, this was a blast.
Really fun.
I'm so glad we could finally make this happen. Get permission from GeForce to give you a call.
Literally the best person we could have called.
Yeah. Just regardless of whether it was for Revenge Virus or not. Thanks for answering our call finally.
You're welcome. Yeah, great.
Taking us off your block list.
It's so
Thank
cool.
you.
Yeah.
You're so cool, Podzilla. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. But where can people find more of you, Biggo? Because I know you're all over the place. I, for one, love following your letterbox. You're just going through the Godzilla movies from the start again and reviewing each one. But what was your username on there?
My username, actually, you know what? I don't remember. Infamously Biggo.
Infamously Biggo. There we go.
Infamously Biggo. I haven't marathoned the Godzilla movies in some time. I made an attempt around like late 2022, early 2023 with other Toho Kaiju adjacent films in there as well. But it was kind of hard to follow through. And here, like, I just have more of the motivation. And so I've been reviewing them. I've been giving extensive thoughts on each one of them as I'm watching.
It's been great.
So if you guys want to follow me along in my Godzilla journey, because I haven't done it in quite a minute, you guys can just come on down and follow me on there. And I'm also very active on Twitter. I wish I had a YouTube channel. I wish I also had my own podcast.
We're rooting for it.
Better than this podcast.
Never say never.
Excuse me?
What?
I just have a podcast that outdoes this one. You know, it'll happen.
Yeah.
But in terms of just being active, I would say I'm also active in the Podzilla Discord. Not as much as I would like to be, but I'll try my best. All right. I have these guys blocked for a reason, but I should maybe give at least everyone who listens to it a fair shake.
Honestly, yeah, I love following you on X and on Discord because your Godzilla action figure collection as well. You just bought the Titanosaurus, and I just love seeing your collection.
That's actually a birthday gift from my girlfriend. She
Was
got
it?
me that. I got the Baragon for myself as a personal thing, but she got me the Titanosaurus, and it just came in, and I love the thing. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's been so great having you on, Biggo. So yeah, everyone follow Biggo. Links in the show notes. And join us next week for Gamera the Brave.
Ooh, I'm excited.
And just once and for all, GeForce, thank you so much for allowing us this phone call.
Yes, GeForce, we're forever indebted to you, actually. Thank you for setting us up so nicely in this luscious space station, giving us everything we'd ever need. It's been such like a great experience for us. I think we've learned a lot.
Oh, absolutely. I feel like we've changed on the inside, almost like we're entirely different persons after.
Yeah, we're completely different.
Experience.
Forever indebted unto you. So thank you, GeForce. Thank you, Biggo. And thank you, P-Fans. And thank you, Gamera.
Oh, thank you, Gamera.
Thank you, Gamera. Absolute guardian of the universe. Are we all in agreement?
Yes, but I also will say GeForce is hiding a copy of Gamera, the Truth, all right?
No, GeForce isn't hiding anything at all. We'll see you later, Biggo. We'll see you.
Bye.
Oh, that was close. Never call Biggo again. He's going to give away all the secrets.
Do you think GeForce does have a copy?
Yeah, they might. Yeah, if anyone's going to have it, it's GeForce. They have a lot of secrets, and we're going to get out of here if it's the last thing that we do.
Maybe that's our goal as Podzilla.
Steal from
copy.
GeForce more?
Yeah. No, well, stealing is a harsh word for it.
Yeah. Take something from G-Force without permission once again.
That is rightfully the people's.
Sure, yeah.
We'll workshop it. We'll plan it.